So, first of all, we'll see what is DC motor. DC motor consists two coils. One is armature coil and another one is field coils. So, field coils will generate a magnetic field and armature coil will rotate under a magnetic field when I pass a current through the armature coil. We studied already a coil which is placed under a magnetic field. If you pass a current through that coil will rotate. That is motoring action. Then what is generator? Generator is, if you place a coil under a magnetic field and if you rotate that rotor coil using external force like a turbine, using turbine, so coil will cut the magnetic flux, so electricity is generated inside a coil. This is generator action. Generator action means the coil which is placed under a magnetic field, if you made that coil to rotate using external mechanical force, the electricity is generated in the coil. This is generator action. Okay. Now I will come back to motor. If you consider a DC motor rotor windings will rotate under a magnetic field when I pass a current through rotor coil. So remember, rotor coil is rotating under a magnetic field. When it rotates, it cuts the magnetic flux. So flux linkage changes with respect to coil. So we studied that whenever any coil is rotating under a magnetic field is generating the electricity. Due to that reason, whenever rotor is rotating under a magnetic field, it will cut the magnetic field. So due to that reason, the electricity is generated in the rotor coil. This EMF, whatever is generated, so EMF, whatever is generated, is called as back EMF. So this back EMF is proportional to speed of the motor. When this motor speed increases, more and more flux it will cut and the back EMF increases. Back EMF is 0 whenever motor is in zero speed. As and when speed increases, when speed increases, the back EMF is also increases. So the model of a DC motor rotor coil I will consider as a small resistance value, high inductance value and back EMF which is generated. This back EMF value is 0 when motor is not rotating, and whenever motor starts rotates, this back EMF, depending on the speed, the back EMF is generated. Okay, so this we should keep this in mind. Okay, I will read out. If a wire carrying a current IAT passes through a magnetic field, a torque will be developed. See, listen here, there are two outcomes of the motor, correct? What is the output of the motor? What we require from the motor? We require torque from the motor and we require speed from the motor, correct? When a vehicle is moving in a first gear, the torque is more, speed is less. So whenever we require higher speed, we change the gear to Fifth, so where I can get higher speed with lower torque. So if you still require little higher torque, I need to come to fourth gear. So where I may not get the maximum speed, but I will get a moderate speed and required torque. When you in a vehicle, automobile, usually when you come to lower gears, we can get more torque. So I am clarifying the meaning of torque and speed and requirements. Okay, in all the motors, the two outputs are, one is torque and one other one is speed. So the torque which is generated from the motor is this formula. So there is a current flowing, and so motor will rotates. We can measure using angular displacement. Then one more outcome of the motor is back EMF. This is also proportional to speed of the motor, W of t. W of t is angular displacement. So this KB is purely depending on my B, flux density, and L and R. See out. So this here for the students, they want to know more about DC motor, you can go through DC motor modeling. But time being, you keep this in mind. DC motor has a two outputs mainly, torque and displacement. And when motor rotates under a magnetic field, back EMF is also generated. The motor coil I am considering as an inductance, the motor resistance I am conducting as a R. Listen here, here onwards, this entire thing I will consider as a load. This entire thing I will consider as a load. Okay, you keep this in mind, this rotor is coupled to the load, like any milling machines, shaft of the mini milling machines or any other machines. So this entire thing will act like a load. Whatever milling machines, and it is coupled through this rotor, and everything will act like a load. The current, whatever it is drawing by this load, depends on all this. Okay, next. So when I use such a DC motor as a load, how my rectifier behaves, this is my topic today's. As your last class we have seen that for SCR we are having, remember, 4 gate pulses are required to fire these 4 SCRs. This is power source Vm sin omega t. This is coming from the power supplying company. So this is AC source. And this whatever are shown RLE is model of the DC motor. So we need to consider that in a load side we have connected DC motor, and how my circuit behaves, this is very important. So this is my AC source, please keep this in mind. So I forgot to write here. This is AC source, this is AC here. Okay, AC source. This is AC source, and you consider that all these are resistors. See, AC source, that's the reason my input looks like this. You can see here, this is my inputs, sinusoidal. Then next, I will show you the circuits in LT Spice. This is actually my circuits. This is my sinusoidal source, this is my 4 SCRs, this is my 2 SCRs, so these are another 2 SCRs. For this 4 gate pulse is required, and this is my load. This is my load. So next, we need to consider that these 2 SCRs will turn on at the same time, because we have kept 2 milliseconds is a delay time and 2 milliseconds is a delay time here. Okay, and these 2 SCRs will fire at the same time. We have kept 12 milliseconds and 12 milliseconds, means these 2 SCRs will turn on in second of cycles, and this is my thing. Okay, we'll observe the input voltage right now. What is input voltage? Input voltage is sinusoidal, correct? So we'll observe the inputs right now. Set the reference probe here, and so this is my input, this is my input. We'll measure the output also. Okay, we'll measure the outputs. So probe reference, you keep somewhere here and measure this. See, this is my output. As we have seen in the last class, the input, so here you can see here, this is zero lines. So my input, this green color, is going to negative half cycle somewhere here, but my output continues. The output continues even after zero. What am meaning? What is the meaning? Okay, I will show you this. See here, the input is coming below 0 somewhere here. At the same time, you can see your output. The output, in the output side, output is receiving, means output voltage is going below 0 here. This is a negative half cycle. Why this happens? This is very important. So, okay, I will go back to my circuits again. So this SCR and this SCR we will turn on at 2 milliseconds. Okay, I can show you what is an angle of 2 milliseconds if you want. I'll make it 2.5 milliseconds. What is the timings then? 2.5 milliseconds. 2.5 millisecond means how much time? 0.5 milliseconds. It's at 40 degree, 45 degree. This we need to make it 12.5 because 10 is 1 half cycle. This is at 12.5. We need to make it 12.5. So what happens? Can you see here? The firing angle now has changed like this. So this is 45 degree firing angle. 45 degree firing angle. See, at 180 degree, my input is going to negative, but the output voltage continues. Why? This is very important here. So we fire at 45 degree this SCR and this SCR using these two gate pulses, and this will turn on. So what happens? The current will flow in this way, in this way, in this way, and it goes to load, and it goes to load, and it comes in this way, like this, like this. Yes, this starts at 45 degree. At till 180 degree this conducts, no problem at all, because T1 and T2 is in on. Then what happens after 180 degree means at the end of the half cycle, this is 180 degree, this is 180 degree. Okay, it started at 45 degree till 180 degree. Okay, it conducts. Then what happens after 180 degree? But my input is going to negative. What happens to load voltage? Load voltage we have seen here. Why this should look like this? What is the reason behind that? So we are saying that the load is receiving the voltage, this input voltage, till in these areas. Means what is the meaning? T1 and T2 is conducting. Means this T1 and this T2 is conducting. Why? That's very important. We'll see what is a load current. What is a load current? See, if I keep a probe like this, it will give you load current. Okay, see, this load current I can show you here. The load current somewhere here you can see at 0 degree at 10 at the end of the half cycle, it is somewhere at this point, it is showing like about 20 amps. It is not 0. See what I can say here, I will show you the load voltage and load currents. See here, this only you just think about this. See, here it is at 0 amps, correct? When we fire it is at 0 amps. Then see if it has slowly increased like this. Here you can see here the output voltage abruptly changes. Why the load voltage is load current is slowly increased like this means the load is inductive in nature. We have studied that L di by dt is a model of inductor. whenever there is a change in the current, that inductor will oppose that change in the current. So the current in the inductor is lagging behind the voltage. So the simple meaning is the inductor not allows the current to change rapidly, or else the inductor current slowly changes like this, but it will reach to some value like 20 amps. Yeah, my input is now it is started reducing. Yeah, this also will start reducing, but this you can see here the voltage is varying like this and varying very fast. If you compare to this current, the current is slowly varying. So even though we have reached the at the end, this is at the end of the half cycle. At the end of the half cycle, this is end of the half cycle. At the end of the half cycle, the output voltage is 0, but the output current is 20 amps, means output is receiving the currents. The load is receiving the current. Load is receiving the current means the T1 and this T2, this T1 and T2 is passing the current, means this T1 and T2 is in on state, is in the on state. So T1 and T2 continues to conduct even after end of the half cycle, even after 180 degree, even after 180 degree. So next, so current flows continuously, current not reaches to 0, current has come down but it has not reached to 0. So we will see this continues till this. Somewhere here, this is what at 45 plus 180 means 225 degree. What we do here, at 225 degree we fire, we are firing this SCR and this SCR. So what happens in that case is, so when you fire these two SCRs, this will turn on, this will turn on. This is acting like a wire, this is acting like a conductor wire. So we can see here, the input is a negative half cycle, okay. So this side is negative and this side is positive. So positive voltage, we already fired this, the current is flowing in this way, current flows like this, 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 and in this way. So right now what happens means, till we fire this SCR3 and SCR, this SCR, this were in on state. Now what is the status of this? We need to think. Listen here, this side is positive now because we are in the negative side, like this, like this, like this, like this, positive, 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 positive. So here you can see this is cathode is connected to positive, cathode is connected to positive, okay. So what happens to this, we'll check. The next, this side is negative, this anode is connected to negative. So this side is plus, this is on, plus this side has become plus. So cathode is connected to positive of the voltage source and anode of an SCR is connected to negative, means negative, or else I can say that now what we did is, cathode of the SCR we made more positive compared to an, we have connected to a voltage in such a way that we have applied a potential in such a way that we made cathode terminal of SCR potential is now more positive compared to anode terminal of a SCR. So this will turn off. Next, remember we have turned on this and we have turned on this, and this is at positive because we are in the negative of cycle. This side is connected to positive. This side we need to check now. This side. See, we have already we have turned on this. So this side is plus, this side is negative. Negative is coming here. So this SCR is connected to this. This is already on now. This is already on now. So this negative potential can reach to this terminal, and this is at positive potential. So this SCR is turned off. So these SCRs will turn off as soon as you fire these two. This way of turning off these two SCR is called as a natural commutation. Commutation means turning off any SCR. So here these two SCRs are naturally commutated because we have turned on this, so that reverse potential is applied automatically to these two. Similarly, in the next half cycle, we fire these two, automatically these two will turn off. So in any half cycle, only two SCR will turn on and other two SCR will in off state. So this is a good behavior of this circuits, so that no external circuitry is required to turn off these two SCRs. Okay, next. Some concepts what we need to focus here is the load is inductive. Because of that, these two SCR will continue to conduct even after 180 degree. So in the negative half cycle, as soon as you fire these two, this will turn on. This entire explanation holds good if you consider that the load current is continuous. What is the meaning of that? You can see here, in my cases, the load current is flowing like this, it is coming down, but it is not reaching to zero. So I can say that load current is continuous. If the load current is reaching to zero, then this entire explanation I need to change a little bit. That is different mode, discontinuous mode. Right now you don't worry about that. So first you concentrate only on continuous mode. Continuous mode means the load current is continuous, means it is not reaching to zero once you start this converter. So again I am talking, the load current is slowly increasing. That's the reason at 180 degree, even though load voltage is zero, the load current is not zero. So your T1 and T2 continues to conduct. So load is receiving entire voltage. This T1 and T2 continues to conduct. So load is receiving entire voltage from this, because these two are in open state and these two is in closed states. Later we fire these two and these two will be in open state and these two will be in closed state. So we have seen that the working of this fully controlled rectifier. We have seen the load voltage. The load voltage starts at alpha and continues till pi and continues even after pi till you fire another SCR T3 and T4. So T3 and T4. Again we fire T3 and T4. The same thing repeats. Right now we will calculate the average voltage of average load voltage which we have delivered to loads. You can see here, to calculate the average voltage we need to identify the periodic waveforms. I will consider this as a periodic waveforms. Okay, I will consider here to here as a periodic waveforms, and I will say that this same thing will repeat, and here to here alpha to pi plus alpha. So pi plus alpha minus alpha. So I can say that the timing is pi here, from here to here, angle is pi. And this waveforms is acting like a sinusoidal waveforms. So I can use Vm sin omega t to model these waveforms. Okay. Just like how we have calculated VDC of load, we are just integrating from alpha to pi plus alpha Vm sin omega t and divided by pi. Sin omega t integration minus cos omega t, limit alpha pi plus alpha. Cos omega cos pi plus alpha minus cos alpha. Cos pi plus alpha is minus cos alpha. So cos alpha cancel each other. 2 Vm cos alpha by pi. This is average load voltage which we have given to load. Next, the RMS values of the load voltage. The same waveform, alpha to pi plus alpha, Vm sin squared omega t d omega t. So pi plus alpha sin squared omega t 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2. 1 integration omega t cos integration sin 2 omega t by 2 cos 2 omega t. So these two I have kept outside. Omega t pi plus alpha minus alpha sin 2 pi 2 alpha minus sin 2 alpha by 2 sin 2 alpha by 2 minus sin 2 alpha by 2 sin 2 alpha by 2 sin 2 alpha by 2 pi. These two cancel each other, pi cancel each other, Vm by 2, Vm by root 2. What is the meaning? Vm by root 2 means it is equivalent to the RMS values of the source voltage. So if you see the RMS values of the load here is same as source, because entire waveform is there in load side. So RMS part, this load RMS is same as source RMS. Okay. Next class I will talk about load current. Now I will stop.